What is up, guys? We are live, YouTube. I'm on call. I'm in the call room, which is why you see the hangers there and the coat rack and the door here. I'm in the call room, so I'm not broadcasting from a closet. It's just the call rooms. It's very prison-esque. Call rooms are not fancy like on Grey's Anatomy with the nice steel bunk beds. In fact, this bed actually has like a lean in it. I'm laying at an angle when I sleep in this bed right here. But that's what's up. Broxham, hello. Harpreet, hello. Courtney, hello. Basic book nerd. So the thing I like about YouTube is I can't see who you guys are, the names, to know who I'm talking to between the ropes. Hello, Muhammad. What up? Mo. Sam. Dr. Helton, hello. Harpreet, can't wait for the webinar. Yes, if you guys don't know, I'm having a free medical school application webinar this Saturday. It's 9 a.m. Registration is probably going to close tomorrow. I think we're going to hit capacity tomorrow. So make sure you guys sign up if you have not. Ritwick, if this is your first time on the stream, then you're a freshman, you need to get in that webinar. Here, yes, we are. Elizabeth, good to see you on here. Joseph, what up? Who else is this? Nisha, Sam, Michael. Michael says, what GPA is considered low? We can talk about that. I'll write these questions down so I have these. How's everybody doing today? Everybody having a great day? Everybody feeling wonderful? Feeling wonderful? If you're excited for Saturday's webinar, give the video a like right now. In this video, guys, you're going to learn what it takes to get into medical school with a low GPA. Without equivocalities, you're going to learn what it takes to get into medical school with a low GPA. Also in this video, I'm going to make an exciting announcement that just happened right before this with my website and with the courses. So you're going to want to hear about that. So hang around for that. And the other thing is you're going to get a discount on courses today. So hang around for that. This is like a big juicy video. So lots of good stuff happening. So we're going to talk about it. Let me go through these questions or comments real quick so we see. Bernas, thank you so much for saying you'll send the video soon. I appreciate that. It means a lot. Initiation, hello. Sally, hello. What is this? Abdikareem, hello. Charmaine, hello. Kaneva just took back her comment, okay. Darren said cruising towards a 4.0 semester. Darren, I love to hear that. Darren's one of my students. I appreciate that. 4.0, that's what we do, it's what we do. Jennifer said, where can I sign up for the webinar? In the description box for this video, there's a link you can sign up. There's also one in the video I just did earlier this week. You can sign up if you go to my social medias. It's in all my profiles. So sign up for that webinar if you have not already. Jason, yes, you did make it. Kaneva, what up? Mernaz, what GPA is necessary for a top 20 med school? What GPA for a top 20 medical school? Sadia, first time live. Well, hello and welcome. Everybody welcome Sadia to the group. Lamar, what up? I recognize that name. Science versus overall GPA. Do you guys mind if I take a second and write these questions down so I actually answer them? Or should I ignore you guys' questions? I actually was lucky enough because we've been talking about exposing phonies recently. And one of those phonies that I feel is not doing you guys any services is Dr. Buck Parker, whoever his character is. And what's interesting is I sat through one of his live streams where people were bold-faced just asking him simple basic questions. And he was like, I actually don't know. I actually don't know to almost every question. It was just kind of interesting that this is someone that people turn to for advice, and this guy can't answer simple basic questions. So it's interesting. I don't know. That would bug me if that was someone I was going to and he couldn't answer simple, rudimentary, elementary school questions. Meryl, hey. Kevin, what constitutes a solid GPA? So constitutes... Kevin, you'll have to clear that up. I don't know exactly what you mean. So what constitutes a low GPA? Sorry, I have to scroll back because you guys are commenting so much. I appreciate it. Dino said signed up, looking forward to it. Yeah, the webinar on Saturday is going to be, I'm putting the slides together. So it's so interesting. People don't realize how long it takes to put something together like this. Like, people are like, oh, why do you charge for courses? So for example, when you guys put together a PowerPoint presentation in a class, right, you might have 10 slides, you might have 50 slides. So my How to Dominate Pre-Med course, which talks about what you do in pre-med and what you do in terms of the application and personal statement, is over 1,000 slides. For Saturday's webinar, we're gonna go 2+ hours. I'm already, and I haven't finished, I'm at 175 slides. So all this stuff takes, like, it's gonna take me most of this week to pull this together, and I'm a perfectionist, so I refine it and do all this kind of stuff, but it's a lot of work to be the pre-med project expert and not be some posing ass person like you guys see over with Dr. Buck, who likes to lace his streams with curse words because he can't articulate himself effectively. I use my curse words purposefully to drive home a point. Garvin's finally catching it live. A competitive GPA 4.0. Let's go. Snow is finally melting. Yeah, it's been rough out there, you East Coast people. That's why I'm out here in the sunshine. I got sunshine out my window. David, hello. Joseph said, how did medical schools weigh upward grade trends in post-bac after a low undergrad GPA? So we'll talk about that. Brandon said he can't wait for the webinar. I cannot either. Meryl met someone at Harvard, and she's going to introduce them to the pre-med productivity family, the Cult of Greatness gang, Cog in this place. So real quick, yes, I'm doing my residency at UCSD. Mango, hello. Bashoy, it's been a long time, man. I haven't seen that face pop up on my screen in quite a while. I hope everything's been good. Vanessa, don't you have to wait till the end of summer when you can get an interview before getting into the interview course? So what do you guys think? So this is what's beautiful, my Cult of Greatness gang. I'm gonna let Cult of Greatness gang come alive right now and answer Vanessa's question. She said, don't you have to wait till blank to get into blank course that Dr. Pinesett offers? What's the answer to that? Chris, what up? And Chris, I saw your message, so you're back to today. See, Charles, I saw your email today about the conference you went to, so that's something that I think is important for everybody to talk about. And actually, see, Charles, you mind if I share a little bit of your email? Because I thought it was interesting. And your email is what I get from a lot of students, which is funny, because once your eyes have been opened to the goodness of truth and specificity, you can't go to these, recruitment days and these workshops and have the same, like, oh, this is so amazing, when it's awful. Joseph said he follows Dr. Buck. Don't. He's terrible. He's a hack. I'm going to be honest. I believe in calling people on their BS. If someone's not real about it, I believe in calling me on that. And Dr. Buck doesn't know what he's talking about when it comes to admissions and studying. And what he does is he spitballs off the cuff using personal experience, which is not what you should be doing. Yes? Yes, we're sending excuses around here. No excuses. Alejandra said, I purchased a 21-day course. All right, finally got in there. Love it. Yeah, doctor appeared in my recommendations. Denied. That's how we do it. Yeah, so Renat, he sells everything. That's why I'm saying. So this is the other thing, right? So jack of all trades is selling you every product under the sun. If they're selling you lotions, how can someone who's selling you lotions help you get into medical school? I'm just trying to figure that out. And Joseph, he said he just made a course. And I wasn't going to go here, but if you guys want to get real freaky with it, we won't. I just find it kind of funny that his course that he outlines, right? 'Cause like I said, I check out everything because it's my job to save you guys the hassle, right? So like I went out last year, right, before I put the MCAT course together, and I bought all the MCAT companies' resources. I bought every company's to figure out what we could really do. Everything I come across in terms of you guys recommend for studying, should I check this out? I'll go check it out. I'll buy a course. I'll do whatever. And what was interesting in his description of his study course is that what he described, right, is that he talks about, getting your mind right to study, so the motivation, so we can be motivated. And the second thing was a couple tips. So exactly how he said it. So he had a couple tips to help you study better that helped me. And I'm like, and it's $100. And I offer from the bottom of the pre-med pack to Stanford Medical School 21 days course, which covers 3 things, right? Start early, study smart, and finish strong. And I offer it for $16, and it's better than what he's talking about. And so I just think it's interesting. So anyway, I won't get into that. I won't bog you guys down. Let me get to see if there's any other questions about GPA, and then we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Can we talk about how schools view grades from college classes taken in high school? That's actually a good question, so we can talk about that. Grades from high school that were college. Are you guys still with me? Like this video if you guys are still with me. I'm trying to get to you guys' questions. I want to make sure, right? We're thorough around these parts. I want to make sure that we are covering everybody's stuff. So hang with me while I get through everybody's questions, because you'll be mad if that was your question at the bottom and I just skipped over it. I have a master's of science in geology. Will med schools take those courses into calculating my GPA? Michael, they will not take those courses into calculating your GPA. Alejandro says, you got my course from the bottom a week ago, learning so much already. I like it. So Rachel, I would apply with your GPA. I just saw that. Giordano just asked if PA schools will look down on a degree that was completed at a community college. Yes, you have to get your degree from an accredited university. Community colleges' degrees don't count. Yeah, so UCSD doesn't really favor their own students. Most medical schools that are public aren't able to do that. And that's why people who say, oh, you got in because of, your race, or you got in because of this, undergrad. Medical school admissions is not like that, where people can just be like, oh yeah, because of this, we're gonna let you in. You have to be qualified. So UCSD doesn't really necessarily give favor, but if they have equal candidates and you're from their school and they know you well, then it serves you well. Yeah, save you money and time. Do not enroll in Dr. Buck's course. So Meryl's in the How to Dominate Pre-Med, non-traditional, loving it. So we're not going to talk about scholarships. So this is questions related to GPA, guys. We got to keep it focused. Darren says, still trying to work something out for your pre-med course. I know, Darren. That's what we're going to announce right now. We're going to talk about this. Yeah, Verducci, you're exactly right. You said it correct. So Shami says she didn't know I do this live. It's live all day, every day, guys. We don't need no practice, rehearse, scripted, got to cut the video 50 times. It's just raw truth from the brain. Expertise, y'all, coming at you. Graduate GPA impact. We can talk about that. Are you ready? I'm going to drop this phone. And you know what's funny? I'm sorry. I apologize for the shakiness. I left my tripod. My kid likes to use my tripod. You guys know Dre. He likes to use my tripod as a stick to reach things, because he uses the grabbing part of it to like grab stuff, and he likes to extend the tripod. So he hid that from me today, which is why I don't have it. Retaking courses. Yeah, so now we're getting to that question. Someone asked earlier, should I wait until this to enroll in Dr. Pinesett's course for this? You should absolutely not wait. You should enroll early, because the earlier you enroll, the more benefit you get from it. Mayor, I got back to your email. So my courses don't end. And I'll talk about this offline, but essentially my courses don't end. My courses are lifetime access, but I set an expiration, because what happens is sometimes people take a course and they're done with the course and they're never going to use it again. And I don't want to keep a bunch of open enrollments, because I have to pay for all those. And you guys already know I give you guys the rock bottom prices on all the courses. So, all right, here we go. All right, so we're gonna get to this, because I know there's questions down there, guys. I'm sorry. I'll try to get to the rest of these later. Here we go. So, you have a low GPA. You want to get to medical school. How do you get it done? And the first thing I want to make perfectly clear, and I'm going to use someone's story who's on here, and I'll use someone else's story who's not on here to talk to you guys, right? Because one of the things that makes people a hack on YouTube is that their only experience is their own, right? If you only see the world through your lens and you can't see alternate perspectives and viewpoints, that makes you a loser, right? You have to be well-rounded enough to have other viewpoints and a breadth of experience. So the very first thing to understand, if you have a low GPA and you're trying to go to medical school, the very first thing to understand is that there is no GPA that's too low to come back from. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? How many of you guys who have low GPAs have been told that you can't go to medical school? Your GPA is too low. You can't possibly do enough to repair your GPA. Who's ever been told that right now on this stream? Right? Who's had someone, their counselor, a dean, a faculty member, a medical student, had someone crap on their head and say, listen, your GPA, you'll never get into medical school. Give up, go somewhere else. Right? Who's heard that? Right? It's a common story, and it's so common, in fact, that it's my story. And if you guys don't know, I'll quickly synthesize it for you guys. But I was in college, thought I was doing well, went to my counselor's office, who was supposed to help me reach my goals and help boost me up to medical school, I thought. And she actually told me that I was not medical school material. She told me that I was average and that I had to be exceptional to get to medical school, and I was not that. And because of my average grades, I would never get to medical school. She told me that, and she filled out change of major paperwork for me and told me to change my major. Told me that. And I got to medical school. Not only did I get to any medical school, I got to Stanford Medical School. And so what I want to tell you guys right off the bat is, no matter what anybody tells you, that, you know what, you've done this, you can't come back from that. You've done this, you can't come back from that. You can always come back from whatever's happened in your past as a pre-med to get to medical school. The only thing you possibly can't come back from is cheating and crimes. If you cheat on a test and it's bad, like a little bit of cheating, I don't know how you define a little bit of cheating, but a little bit of cheating, it'll be okay. But if you're cheating, you're not going to get into medical schools, because medical schools don't want that. If you commit a crime, that's a serious crime, they're not going to want that. But otherwise, no matter who you are today, you can be better, right? As we're always talking about, it's about getting better. And when you change that perspective, you change that mindset up about, it's not excuses, it's not, listen, oh, I've done bad in the past, I'm going to get better, I'm going to do better, then you can get there. So that's the very first step, is recognizing that don't let other people discourage you, don't discourage yourself. Whatever you're at, I promise you can get into medical school. I mentioned myself, and yes, I was an average student, I was below average, whatever it was, but I'll tell you about another student that I work with, and it's the acceptance that I'm most proud of. There are students that I love more than this student, right? I care about all my students, but like certain ones have special places in my heart. And there's students I care more about, but the acceptance that I'm most proud about that I've ever been involved in, and it wasn't my work, it was her work, was a student who worked 7 years post undergrad. So had already graduated undergrad and worked 7 years to get into medical school. And the problem was that she had a bad GPA because she wasn't a pre-med. And so she worked, though, we put it together a plan, and she worked 7 years to improve herself for medical school. And the reason I love that story and that student so much, and I have such a fondness for that path to medical school, is because it highlights what separates those who get into medical school and those that don't. And so this is the second part of tonight, right? So we're going to get to all things you have to do. But the first thing is recognize that you can. The second thing is you have to be willing to do it and to actually do the work. There's so many of you guys who have these low GPAs or these borderline GPAs, and you don't want to do the work. You aren't willing to do the work, right? Who feels me on that? Give me a like right now if you understand what I'm saying right there. How many of you guys know, listen, my GPA is messed up. I've got to improve it, but you aren't willing to spend the time, the money, the effort, all these things to get it done, right? Or you know other people. I want to make you tell yourself, how many of you guys know other people who are that way? Where they know, dang, right? And Rachel just said it, don't work, don't eat. Truth, right? You have to put in the work. So you have to be willing to do it. And the reason you have to be willing to work is because the truth is, and people will try to lie to you and tell you, you can get into medical school with a low GPA. But the reality is that there are qualified applicants who don't get into medical school every single year. Qualified. So what you have to recognize is if your GPA is in the tank, if you're a 1.5, you're a 2.0 student, you aren't going to get into medical school. I'm just being honest with you, right? It's about reality. People will lie to you and tell you, oh, just apply with your 2.0 GPA. You will not get there. And I love that, Meryl. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with what? One single step. And that's what we're going to talk about next. What's the first step? What would you guys think? I've got a low GPA. My GPA is low. I bombed my undergrad. I was terrible for 4 years. What's the first step towards what is the first step towards getting those good grades? Joshua, I'm wrong. It's not retaking class. No, Garvin's, it's not retaking. So now my students are coming in here. Jason says, identify why. Komsky said, change study habits. Garvin said, fixing your studying. Kat said, analyze what went wrong in the first place. Does that make sense to everybody? And I asked the question before I told you guys what it was, because I know so many of you guys there's so many of my students on here, but so many people aren't aware of this. You can't just say, oh, I've gotten a 2.0 for 4 years of undergrad, and now I'm going to get serious and I'm going to get A's. It doesn't happen that way. You can't just will things in. I know we always preach this, right? If your mind is right, you can do anything. Yes, the mind is where it starts. We've already talked about that. But after the mind is right, we then have to infuse that mind with the proper fuel and tools to get where it needs to go. So you have to improve your study skills. Does that make sense? You have to improve your study skills first. Then once you get the study skills, right, and it doesn't happen overnight, and this is something else that I find people do, is they just did terribly in undergrad. Then they say, okay, listen, I acknowledge I have to improve my study skills. So I'm going to buy a book, I'm going to read that book, and then I'm going to start, and I'm going to take 25 units next semester. Does that seem like a reasonable plan to you guys? Ask yourself that. You identify, I don't know how to study. So now I'm going to buy a book, take a course, and I'm going to launch in and take 25 units. And the reality is you've never done well in 12 units. And because you read a book or took a course, all of a sudden you're going to be able to take 25 units because you want to rush. And you think, oh, I need lots of classes, so I'm going to take lots of classes. And you're not being smart. And Carlos just said it, right? Start small. Jason just said it. Failure to plan is a plan to fail. Kat, you're setting yourself up for failure, right? This is obvious. But do you guys think that students do that? Think about it. Do you guys think that students do that? Where they're like, oh yeah, it'll be okay. I'm serious now. I'm going to take all these classes and I'm going to go do it. And what's messed up is you were in a hole already and then you dig yourself into a deeper hole because you didn't have the patience and the willingness to work on yourself and better yourself and put yourself in a position to be successful. And Kaniva, I'm glad that your grades have improved greatly since my 5 Pillars course. I love to hear that. Thank you. But does that make sense? You guys have to think about things and be real about it. Okay? So you're going to get your study skills together. You're going to learn about studying. Then once you learn about studying, you need to practice those study skills. Anyone tells you that them teaching you a study skill and you don't have to practice that study skill is lying to you. My courses are phenomenal, but they're not going to make you a better studier unless you apply them and practice them and think about them. So before you go launch back into classes, take time and practice those skills in a low stress, right? Low cost environment in terms of it's not going to be something that's going to go in your transcript. So go to a JC, a community, take a couple classes and just don't report them, right? Or don't take them for a grade, take them pass fail, do whatever. So that way you can just practice and get in the routine of using your new study skills. But the equivalent that I see people do is they'll learn some study skills and they'll launch into a heavy load and they're surprised it doesn't work out. But it's the equivalent of never having done something before, right? So you've never ever ridden a unicycle. Now all of a sudden you watched a video on a unicycle and then you think you can go unicycle with the circus freaks. Like, That's not realistic. You're not going to be on a unicycle, on a tightrope with the circus people because you watched a video about it or because you read a book about it. You have to apply it and practice it and fall off the unicycle 100 times before that unicycle is ready to go. Yes, that's what you have to do. Everybody understand the unicycle analogy? Did I lose you in the circus? If that made sense to you, like the video. If that made sense to you, if I'm not getting too weird. Cynthia, you're very welcome. I'm glad you messaged me. I'm glad I was able to get back to you. And for everyone who has messaged me, you guys know it's not because I don't care that I haven't gotten back to you if you messaged me and I haven't gotten to you. It's because I'm underwater trying to help so many of you guys. And I help you guys all personally. I don't let people who aren't qualified help you guys. I'm here with you guys, working with you. Nina, what up? Okay, so anyway, so we're there. So now that we've learned to study, we've put in some practice time with our studying, now it's time to talk about the right path to improving our GPA. And this is some of the questions that people are getting to, right? When people were asking about post-bacs and masters, and these are the community college classes, and this is what everyone always asks about. And the reality is that the answers you get a lot of times, people don't understand the nuances of medical school admissions. And so they tell you the wrong path based on incomplete information because they're not thorough. They themselves went and watched a cheesy 5-minute YouTube video about which path to improve your GPA, and they think that's going to be the answer for you. In terms of choosing a path of getting your GPA improved, the number one thing I'm going to tell you guys is master's degrees, PhD programs, those grades do not improve your GPA. Some of you guys are going to want to argue with me and tell me that you were told your master's program improves your undergrad GPA. That's not true. Because when you fill out your AMCAS application, it makes you denote graduate school or undergraduate classes. And so therefore there's separate GPAs, like there's separate science and cumulative GPAs that are calculated. The only time, right, and this is the nuance of it, that master's grades can possibly help you in terms of your undergrad GPA is in showing that you have advanced your ability to do well in science classes if your master's is in a hard science. So if your master's degree is in biochemistry and you have to take a bunch of biochemistry courses and chemistry courses and those things, even though they don't help your GPA, they may help to buffer the lowness of your GPA. Does that make sense? And it's similar to the upward trend in that people will look and say, oh, you know what? Undergrad GPA is low, but that master's degree is going to bump that up. I see there that they were an F student before, but they're an A student now. The problem with that strategy, and this is what people don't get into, the nuances of it, is that with that strategy, you still have to pass the minimum undergraduate GPA cutoff to have someone actually look at your transcript in that manner. Does that make sense? If that makes sense to you, like the video. Because in the beginning, schools weed people out on the raw numbers. So if your raw number is too low, the work you did in graduate school to help compensate is not going to be counted towards that. You're not even going to have an opportunity to evidence that, to show them that. So that's not the route I would advise most low GPA students to go, is the master's route. Now, if we say that's out of the table, the next route that's very common for people is the post-bac program. The post-bac program is a great option because the post-bac program, not only do those grades improve your actual grade calculation, but what happens in a post-bac program is that most of these post-bac programs are vetted by medical schools. So medical schools know that you're in a competitive pre-med environment with high-level classes, oftentimes same classes that are taken by the medical students, and you're taking all these classes in a heavy load. Therefore, when you do the post-bac, in addition to actually boosting your GPA, it will additionally Show them your level of student skill because they know you're in a highly competitive environment. So if you get past the minimum cutoff, it will do much more to show them that you're qualified and really make them not feel so concerned about your ability to perform in the classroom compared to a master's degree. Yes, the problem with the post-bac program is they're expensive. So the other option is taking regular undergrad courses. You can do this at a community college or at a four-year university. Either way is fine. If you need lots of work, you should enroll in a university. Why? Because it's going to be easier to get courses, it will be more organized, and it looks more legitimate. For you guys who are borderline, right, your GPA is around a 3.0, taking a couple classes at a community college would be just fine because you don't have a long way to go to be qualified. Yes? Okay. All right. And that's the other thing, Dead Walker, but that's right, that's not strictly for GPA, but post-bac programs sometimes have affiliation programs with medical schools. So essentially, if you maintain a certain GPA, get a certain MCAT, then they'll give you an interview, right? And so that gets you again past that minimum cutoff point and saves your GPA. So that is also a perk of post-bac programs. So the right path. So does that make sense of the right path? Okay, and David just said the right thing. Make sure you guys, if you're liking this stuff, right? Who is liking this? Who feels like this is great high-level advice? This kind of advice is great, but my courses are better. And I can guarantee you that because why would my students be happy about paying for a course if the course was this? If the course was the same as what is on YouTube, if the courses were basic, the courses are advanced on a whole nother level like you've never seen. That's why Saturday's webinar is gonna be off the hook because it's gonna take what you guys see here and we're gonna talk about the application and you guys are gonna be like, holy smokes, he's right. This is entirely different than what's up on his YouTube channel and light years ahead of what's on other people's channels. That's what it's about, okay? So that's the right path. The third thing is once you pick a path, now you say, listen, I was messed up before, I know I can do it now. I've got the study skills down. I've practiced my study skills. I've picked a path. Once you're in that path, you have to work. I can't emphasize this enough because oftentimes, right, we have great plans. We have great intentions. We want to be our best. We want to do the right thing. How many of you guys say, "Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this week. I'm going to do it better." And you don't, sometimes you fall short of what you aspire to do. Does that make sense? You guys have to, I know our intentions are great. We don't ever want to, no, who wants to be a slacker? Who wants to underperform? Who wants to have failure and let down and regret? Nobody. But we tell ourselves we can do things and we don't follow through. So the next step is, guys, you picked a path. You're not paying crazy money to be in a post-bac or in a master's program. You still have to deliver. And I sometimes see students who will get into a post-bac program and think the work is done. Oh, I'm in a post-bac program, now I can cruise. Right? And the same thing with medical school. People are like, oh, I'm in the medical school, now I can cruise. I don't have to do research, I don't have to do all these things. And then they mess around and they don't get the residency they want because they weren't applying themselves. Does that make sense? And Rebecca's asking about the webinar on Saturday. The webinar on Saturday is recorded by me, and I send out the replay. The replay is available for 7 days, for a week, so you can watch it for a week. Okay. Yes, okay. So you have to be willing to actually apply yourself in that program, and you have to work your arse off. You can't go into a post-bac program, be average, and think medical schools are going to want you. You have to go into that post-bac program and get the A's. If you're going to be working at a community college, you're going to be working at an undergrad, you're going to be whatever it's going to do to inflate your GPA, improve your grades, you actually have to get the A's. I see people all the time and they'll try to talk to me about their GPA and, oh yeah, you know what? I messed up early in my career, but now I'm on the right path. I'm like, well, what kind of grades are you getting? Oh, I'm getting I'm getting some A's, mostly B's. And I'm like, mostly B's is not going to cut it because a B, and this is just reality, right? It sounds mean, but if you're trying to improve your GPA, a B will not do it because a 3.0 won't raise up GPA because because a 3.0 is a borderline GPA, borderline low, practically unacceptable. So if you're getting mostly B's, you're not going to inflate your GPA like you need to. You need to be getting all A's almost. And that's the reality. We can't sugarcoat it. You have to be getting almost all A's if you're going to accelerate your trajectory to get there. Does that make sense? And Montez, I'm going to forgive you for your comment right there because you must be new. And Carlos, thank you for cleaning it up. Carlos has been around, so knows what's up. Do not ever, ever, ever on this channel ask for a tip. So when Montez says, Rachel, do you have any study tips? That is against our philosophy because it's not one tip that's going to make you a good studier. This is the reality, right? It's not one thing that's going to make you get into medical school. That is a YouTube mentality where you guys think this one tip, this 3-minute video is sufficient to get me where I want to go. And it's okay, Montez. I'm saying I'm cutting you a blood because I don't recognize the name, so you must be new, right? It's okay. But it's not one tip that makes studying. Zot, guy. Yeah. It is about having all of it, right? And Rachel just said it. It's about a lifestyle, a philosophy, a culture shift, a mindset, a system. It's about stepping it up. There is no magic bullet to any kind of success. To any kind of success, which is why I feel the need to call out people who are terrible, like Buck Parker, who doesn't know what he's talking about, who hasn't put in the work, who hasn't gone to the depths I've gone to, and has the audacity to release a study course and gouge students out their money. I don't respect that. I don't respect people who don't do the work and want to offer you tips for money. I don't respect that. That's not right. It's not right. You got to be more than that. I'm more than that, which is why I don't accept that from other people. Okay. So, applying yourself. And then I mentioned on the back end of that, it's perfection. 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 High standards, high achievement. High standards, high achievement. And I apologize. I know you guys are commenting a lot, and I'm only catching some of the comments. But if you guys knew how hard it is to read and talk simultaneously, especially when you're like me and you're a slow reader, not a high quality reader, right? I survive academically because I have a system that allows me to work around my issues. So it's hard for me to talk to you guys and be logical and read at the same time. So I apologize that I'm not getting all the questions. I'm trying. Okay. So now, those are the steps. Does everybody have all those steps? To answer some of these questions that also came up, right? People asked about the cutoff. And this is, again, an oversimplification. And I have a whole video talking about different GPA tiers that you can watch. So if you guys are new, I have a whole video where I break down different GPA tiers and potential cutoffs. But the reality is this. 3.0. 3.0, if you're below that, you're unacceptable. 3.0, if you're below that, you're unacceptable for most post-bac programs. Does everybody understand this? 3.0 is low. Then if you go up above that, medical school applications, right? We talk about holistic, and we're talking about this on Saturday, but a 3.0 is like the minimum. And to get into medical school, people do get into medical school with 3.0s, but they're outstanding everywhere else. Cynthia, so happy to hear you survived cancer. It's always beautiful to hear about a cancer survivor. That's the bare minimum, but everything else has to be amazing for that to happen. You should be trying to get your GPA as high as possible, but common cutoffs you're going to hear: 3.0, 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, 3.5, all the way up, depending on the school. The elite tier schools, so someone asked, what kind of GPA do you have to get in a top 20 school? Well, I have students getting in the top 20 schools with 3.1, 3.2 GPAs. Less than 3.1 is hard at a lot of schools. Less than 3.2 is hard at a lot of schools unless you're like a baller. So I would say at the top 20 schools, the reality is a lot of those top 20 schools, their cutoffs right around 3.3. Get in with a 3.3 GPA from Ivy League school, how amazing does the rest of your stuff have to be, right? And Jason just talked about it. You got to have a bomb X factor. The rest of your application has to be amazing. Does that make sense? Oh, Roy. And I apologize. I'm asking for clarification. It's because I'm tired. I'm on call this week. So I've been working all day today. And then I'm on call all night tonight. And I was up last night doing crazy stuff. I was doing a craniotomy. In the middle of the night, this guy's head busted open, essentially. It was awful. And so I was up all last night doing that. And I was up today at home with the kids when I was home for a couple hours. And then I'm right back at it tonight. So I apologize for my asking for clarification, but it's important. I want to make sure there's an understanding of what we're talking about. Okay. So those are the terms of cutoffs, how it works. What GPA is considered low? We just talked about this. Less than 3.0 is low. Less than 3.1 is low. Less than 3.2. It just depends on what type of tier you want to go to and also what the rest of your application looks like. But the higher you can get your GPA, the better. At the same time, when I say that, right, the higher your GPA, the better, some people are obsessed. So someone commented earlier, said, hey, my GPA is 365. Should I work on it and get it higher? If your GPA is 365, right, if your GPA is 365, getting it to a 3.8, what do you guys think? Do you think working on your GPA and going from a 365 to a 3.70 is going to get you into additional schools? So Bradford just got done cleaning up after a lap appy. Yeah. So actually, I did a lap appy right before I came on here. We did a. You know what's interesting? It's amazing. Until my mom had appendicitis last year. Until my mom had appendicitis, I had never met someone who had appendicitis. But I feel like we do lap appies like every day. Like people just appendicitis is common. I didn't realize what was up. Interesting. So, yeah. So everyone's answering Joseph's question, I think here. I played football to my grades, but a lot of so 2.5 GPA. If you did over 4 years, you're gonna have to do 4.0 for 4 years just to bring that up to an acceptable level. You got a lot of work to do. So I think people are saying it on here. You got to work on extracurriculars. You got to make sure everything else. So this is the other problem too, right? So once you get a low GPA, it's problematic because then not only do you have to work on the GPA, but you have to make sure that the rest of your application is standout, right? It's got to be a whole thing has got to be standout. So it's a whole lot of work to go uphill, messing up that GPA, and that's why I always congratulate students when they get the GPA right and they come to me and like, yeah, my GPA is this and it's high. I'm like, okay, cool. Because, and I congratulate them. I say, hey, congratulations on doing the hardest part. Because everything else is a quick fix. GPA is not a quick fix. It's not, right? And people, you mentioned focusing on football, but I meet students all the time who focus on anything you focus on outside of your grades and your grades aren't together, it's a problem. It's a problem. Grades have to come first. Okay? Let me see what other questions we had here. Grades from high school. So you're a high school student, right? And all these robo students where your parents make you take 50,000 AP classes, 50,000 community college or high school, university classes in high school. How does that affect medical school? A college class is a college class is a college class. And I try to tell people, you start being pre-med the day you know you want to go to medical school. So if you're in high school, why would you not be taking as many college classes as you can, assuming you can do well in them? Because it'll boost your standing once you get to university. It'll set you up and have a foundation for having that high GPA, right? All those kind of things to boost your medical school competitiveness. All right, so Does that answer everyone's question about the low GPA? I think it's pretty. I think we were pretty thorough there and pretty. Um, I don't know what are the terms I would use there. Now you guys can tell I'm fading, right? I'm getting tired right now because my brain is slowing down here. I think we covered this topic pretty thoroughly. Who feels like this was a good use of their 45 minutes to hear all this? Thank you. Rebecca cares about me. Yes. All right. Awesome. The other two announcements, I mentioned two announcements you guys are going to want to hear about. The first one is Jessica. Hello. I haven't seen Jessica in a long, long time. Is so many of you guys, right? You guys know I'm a man of the people, right? I'm here to help you guys. I do this not for the money. I do this to help students. And people want to criticize when I say that statement, but the reality is, guys, if you understood how expensive it is to actually run a website, to do these courses, to all these things, it all costs money. And so I do have to make money to keep the website on and to keep my kids from being homeless and eating, right? With that being said, I'm always trying to work whatever I can do to get you guys in courses. I'm always trying to do, always. And so this is going to be a big headache for me. And to say this, because you guys have asked for lower payments, extended payment plans, all these things, what I want to offer you guys payment plans. So, as of right now, you can go to my website. I have now extended payment plan options, so you can pay all at once. Some courses you can pay in 3 months, and then you can even do 6 and 9 month payments. So now what I've added is 9 months worth of payments, and I've added a 6 months worth of payments for my MCAT course. So what that means is every month it's lower to make it more affordable than it already is for you guys. And it's a big hassle for me because, like I said, I never want to chase people down for payments. And so I ask you guys, if you're going to take advantage of that in the payment plans, please be a good enough human being to care not about me, but care about other students. Because if you guys all mess around and make me chase you for money, then I'm going to cancel the payment plans for everybody. And then everybody else suffers. So all like you're hurting other students who I'm trying to make this accessible for, right? So just be right. And if you can't make a payment plan, I have students every month who email me and say, listen, I can't make my payment. I don't yell at anybody. I say, great. Thank you for letting me know. Let me know when you can make the payment. Like, that's what I'm not here. I'm not like, oh no, you gotta make your payment. I'm not Sally Mae. I'm not Sally Mae talking about you gotta give me that money every month for class. If you can't make the payment, just email me. Don't hide out from me. Just like, listen, I can't make the payment. I'm like, cool, fine. Let me know when you can. Does that make sense? That's what it's about. It's about helping people. Additionally, and anyone who just purchased, I see purchase popping up right here on my screen. So thank you guys for purchasing courses. Right now, because, right, and this is about the reason I'm extending payment plans, the reason I'm doing all this stuff is because I want to create opportunity for you guys to be your best. I don't want you to get cheated in someone else's garbage course. I don't want you to be, I want just the tip. I want the whole thing. That's what she said. Is that too much? Oh, that's terrible. You want the whole kit and caboodle. You want to know everything. You want the whole enchilada. And I'm sorry for that, guys. I couldn't resist there. It's terrible. But you want the whole thing. So now there's extended payment plans. In addition, because I want to create opportunity, you guys can use the coupon code OPPORTUNITY, OPPORTUNITY, and you can get 10% off courses also right now. For all of you guys, there's a bunch of purchases that just popped up. If you purchased a course, you guys know I never cheat people out of money. If you just purchased a course right now on this stream, I'm going to refund you 10% of your purchase. So don't trip, right? We work together. We work together in a collective. Okay. So that's where we're at. Use the coupon code opportunity 10% off. Now we have extended payment plans, 9 months. I hope that this helps people get the opportunity they need to get better. You guys see, my students are on here with us. The payment plans are at the bottom of the screen. If you scroll down on the landing page, at the bottom of the screen, the payment plans are there. I don't cheat anybody. I don't cheat any of my students. I give my students everything I got. That's what it's about, is about helping students and creating opportunities, right? As you guys saw on the stream on Sunday, I went and saw Zach. He was presenting here in San Diego. I said, listen, I'm gonna be in San Diego. Let's get together. I said, sure, certainly. Went and saw him present. We went and had non-alcoholic beverages afterward. I read his whole personal statement. Right? Went over his whole personal statement with him, totally free, right? Gave him tips on it. I already told him I'll review his application, right? And then I gave him a nice discount on my How to Dominate Premed course. I said, listen, I could sit here, but I can't give you 30 hours worth of content that's in this course, right? I can't relay that to you right now over drinks. Go get in the course. Here's a discount. Because my students are my people, and I try my best. Try my best. It's one man show, so I get behind, but I'm here to do the best I can for you guys. And that's my guarantee, is that you always get my best. Never half-ass. When we go on Saturday, for that webinar on Saturday, I'm giving you guys, I'm putting in major work. I was home, I played my kid for 30 minutes. I spent the other 4 hours I was home working on the PowerPoint for Saturday to make sure that webinar is crisp, is nonstop, bam, 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 hitting you with amazingness. So understand that and recognize real from fake. Real from fake. And and Montez, how long does the webinar last on Saturday? I'm aiming for 2 hours, but the reality is my webinars rarely end on time. So please, like, allot the time to stay, like, give yourself 4 or 5 hours, but I'm going to try to stick to 2 hours because I know people's attention span starts to go. I can talk for forever, but I try to stick to around 2 hours. That's about what you guys can give me on a focus level. And then you guys start, like, not giving me 100% of your attention. And I'm very sensitive. I can't tolerate less than 100% of your attention. So anyway, you can register for the webinar in the box. You can link out to my website, premedproductivity.com, in the description box. The offer is 10% off. And Sadia, thank you for asking, how long will it be offered? The 10% offer is available until May 1st. I think that's like a little less than a week, something like that. So May 1st, 10% off. The payment plans are on until people abuse them, and then they're off. So if everybody just keeps going, right, in a positive direction, understands that we're all working together to build a community, to build positivity, to build opportunity, then we can have payment plans for forever, right? And if 9 months goes well, then maybe we'll extend them out to 12 months, whatever we can do to help people get it done. But you have until May 1st, 10% off. At the webinar on Saturday, right, it's called Breaking Down the Medical School Application, Securing Your Acceptance. The webinar is still open to register because there's been a bunch of glitches. Since you guys crashed my website, it's been like helter-skelter with the registration tab. And so I'm trying to give everyone an opportunity who keeps hitting walls when the website is like giving them fits, an opportunity to get in. But we're already at capacity, so we're like, so it's going to be a great thing. But here's what's happening. One, the webinar is going to be like packed with information. Two, I'm giving away a 5 pillars course. That's a $550 course. 3, I'm giving away a How to Dominate Premed course. That's a $599 course. Additionally, everyone who attends will be getting a discount offer that's crazy discount on my How to Dominate Premed course. So it's all positivity, it's all love, it's all beautiful things where we get together, we establish community, you guys can interact with each other. And what's cool is, like, my peoples know each other, and I know my peoples, and we people. And so my community is positive, and we cut trolls out. But if you're positive, come hang out, come chill. And the replay I send out via email for 7 days. Ann just asked, who does a doctor trust when ill? Other doctors. Or I shake it off as nothing. Nah, it's nothing. It's nothing. That blood I'm coughing up, it's nothing. So anyway, I want everyone to have a great day, and I hope to see all you guys on Saturday. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Um, yeah. I gotta go because I actually got paged. If you guys didn't hear that, um, so if they ask right why I didn't show up to that code right away, you guys are my alibi. I was not on YouTube with you guys. I was actually caring for other patients. So everyone, have a good night. The website premedproductivity.com. Better yourselves, right? Be good to yourselves. Be good to other people. Be about it. And I'll see you guys on Saturday. Good night.